Good morning, student. Oh, good afternoon, students. Welcome to you all on this today's session. Yes.
So success at CA examination session, which is for paper 2, corporate and other laws.
So we welcome you all on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the Board of Studies. And yes, this is the initiative that has been taken by the Board of Studies for the benefit of you students to just get acquainted with the basic do's and don'ts before appearing for the examinations. Along with that, focusing on certain tips that will be helping you in the examination times.
So as you know, we have met before also for many things, and the students who have been through with us in our live virtual classes, they must be very much acquainted with whatever we have done in our studies for this paper 2. So today we will be focusing primarily on the representation part, presentation part, then your a basic knowledge about what all is there in the paper, and then we will be going on to few case scenarios and questions so as to enhance your practice.
Yes, because ultimately practice is the key to success. Because it's been said that though you have read everything from the same book, the same matter, the same syllabus coverage, but then also why there is a difference in the scoring of marks. You know, this is all because of the presentation, the difference in the presentation of your answers. And that makes a difference, you know. So that is why this session has been specially arranged for the benefit of your students so that you students are being given an insight to what are the small tips that will make a huge difference in your presentation, though this seems to be small, but yes, every small step will lead you to the big jump in your destination, in achieving your targets, in achieving your object, in achieving your aims. So in this we have just focused on this basically on the writing parts on more side, and everything is rest almost the common thing because already various subjects will be taken, and some things are common, some are specific related subject related as well. There are the writing part, which is the main part, you can say, which we would like to focus on today's session.
And in this session, since I can see some student new names are there, so I would be briefing them a bit about that, what this paper is all about, without going much deeper into that. So let's start up with our presentation. So as we know that the paper name is Corporate and Other Laws. So this paper is of 100 marks and is consisting of two parts. One is your corporate laws and the other is your other laws. Other laws. So the corporate law portion is basically for 70 marks and the other laws portion is of 30 marks. The 70 marks portion comprises of your company law as well as the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. So along with the main act, the rules of both the acts are covered. That is the Companies Act 2013 along with their rules and the Limited Liability Partnership Act along with the rules to the extent they are made applicable via your study material. Okay.
Yes, since there are various rules related to the subject, but yes, you have to restrict yourself to the coverage or to the extent being covered in the study material.
So this is about the basic your subject, and the point is that in your corporate law portion, that is of 70 marks, you need to have a knowledge which is your expert kind of a knowledge. In order to solve the question, you should have a knowledge as to analyze a given situation, apply the provisions and analyze the given situation, and then come to a conclusion. So a more than basic knowledge is required for the company law portion and the LLP portion. When you come to the other laws portion, more of a knowledge and comprehension things are there. As in, you need to know the law or the legislation as it is, and to a lesser degree you need to apply that knowledge into the practical scenario that has been provided to you.
Yes.
So these two portions are there, and the students are very fortified with the part 2, which is other laws. But I should tell you that if you concentrate on that part, it's very, very, very scoring. Since right now, I think we are around 44 days above from our examination, 44, 45 days. So if we see that right now, you should now have full focus on the 6 subjects if you're giving all the 6 subjects. And you should now concentrate from the examination goal. Had it like when we are preparing for the examinations, we take things from the point of view of that what all you need to go in depth. But right now, you need to be more exam centric.
Yes. And if you could be seeing, there are various resources that are made available. So that will be just enhancing or will be helping in your practice of the answers. So this the whatever the preparation that you do at the last this 45 days period, that will definitely going to give you a big achievement or the success in whatever you have planned for. But only the thing is that these 45 days should be utilized to the best of its maximum it can be done. So you need to strategize your planning, your timetable should be prepared, how you're going to do the revision of each and every subject, because this is not only the one subject that you have to go in, but you have to read the other subjects also. So just prepare a timetable first, my dear friends, and accordingly just give proper time to each and every subject. You can either go with a single subject or at the same time 2 subjects can be start with the revision of. So kindly just prepare because it depends upon one's capability, how they are going to proceed with their planning and the strategies. So just do it at your own because you well know what are your, the strength or the weakness. Accordingly, you may decide it. So here are certain this
publications and you must have already prepared yourself with the help of the study material or any detailed book. But we are telling a few more resources that if any student has missed those, they can refer it. So the study material is there, which is the July 2024 edition. Then you have the MCQ dashboard, which is your online resource. You can go to the website of the institute, specifically the BoS knowledge portal, and then you can attend the case scenarios as well as the independent MCQs, and you will be assessed online for that then and there. So you can assess your performance and know where you are standing as of now. Apart from that, simultaneously for this MCQ solving, we are also providing you with the MCQ, rather I should say a case scenario booklet is also there. Then we have a revisionary test papers, which is for September, catering to the September 2025 examinations. Then we have our mock test paper series 1. So this series 1 is there, and after a few days, I think on 5th of August, second series will also be there for you, which will be specifically for September 2025 students. So, and suggested answers, those are the past year solved papers. So, ma'am, let's try to give them a brief idea about the RTP as well as this how they should attempt a mock test paper.
Absolutely. Because as you said, this is the main time to practice, just to polish your skills, whatever you have read so far. So these are the certain the publications which as of now Shraddha specified, because these are containing the questions so that you can read and practice, and accordingly you may develop a tendency that you are able to write down your answer as per the level that is being expected by the professional students and in this chartered accountancy examinations. So as already said, RTP. RTP is, the revisionary test paper. It's a kind of, at the end it is being released for the student before the examination so that students can just revise certain questions in order to assess whatever they have read so far, how much they are able to, solve those questions, how much they can go with the recent concept is something new concept is there and it is based on the amendment. So sometimes on the basis of the amendment also we just give the questions in the RTP for the students. So you can go to this RTP. It will be containing the relevant, these amendments will be there first of all. If any amendment is applicable and relevant for that attempt, that is always being given in the RTP for the reference of the students. So yes, we have a minor, one single amendment is there, a small amendment. So that will take up later on. Yeah. So, and along with the amendments, we have given certain questions. So you can practice how we need to read and understand the nature or the requirement of the question, how the questions are being framed and tested in the examination scenario. Sometimes, Shraddha, it seems to be easy, but the student should understand what exactly they are expecting, in what sense they are asking to give you the reply or give your answer. So that definitely comes when you read the questions properly. There are certain, usages of the terms, the verbs in the questions, because as Shraddha told you earlier, that there are two natures of the questions are being tested in the examination. One is application and analysis based. So that is the nature. There are different kinds of verbs are used. So you can, by just understanding through the way of the usage of the verb, to what nature of question it is and what they are expecting you in their answers. So accordingly, you have to give your answers. So this needs to be understood from the sample questions given over here in the RTP. So kindly go through the RTP, and hope already you must have, you all must have read so far this RTP and all these things. And for the another important publication is,
so this RTP, there is one more very why you have to refer the RTP and the amendments. There is one link between the two. Like the study material, that is the July 2024 edition is there. That is updated for all amendments up to 30th of June 2024. But for September 2025 students, all the amendments up till 28th of February 2024 are applicable. So in that case, there is a gap of 1st July 2024 till 28th February 2025. So you have to refer those amendments. From where you will refer? Like if I see there are more than 20 to 25 amendments that has come itself in the Companies Act and the relevant portion, like section 1 to 148 and companies incorporated outside India. So there are 25 amendments that have come, but all of them are not applicable for you. So to understand that what only amendments have been made applicable for the students at this level, you need to refer the amendments either from the RTP, or the same is also available otherwise on the website of the institute.
yes.
Then now students ask us the question, ma'am, as you said that you need to practice. Students keep on asking us, ma'am, from where should we practice? We have done the practice from the test your knowledge questions that are given at the back of the study material. There is ample of things. Like I gave you the example of this suggested answers, which is your past year papers or the MCQ booklet or the MCQ dashboard. Now what happens is students are still like the students who have read a lot, they want to practice more. So we come up with this RTP. So RTP has two parts. Part 1 is related with the amendment and part 2 is related with the question and answers. So those question and answers, if you prepare, you will be more keen and happy during your examination time. Similarly, there is another big source, which is your mock test papers. So if I tell you about the mock test paper, what does the word mock means? Mock means similar, imitating something. So mock test papers are exactly to be attempted the way you do your examinations. They are made exactly on the pattern, like the 30 marks descriptive, 30 marks of MCQ portion is there, then 70 marks of descriptive portion is there. So if you have not seen it, kindly see it. The series 1 has already been done. You can attempt the mock test paper either on the branch, or you may do it at your home, but in that case you need to simulate an environment similar to the examination hall kind of a thing, that you will just put a timer in front of you and put it for 3 hours 15 minutes. 15 minutes of reading time means only 15 minutes of reading time, and 3 hours for your solving of question paper. Do it, and then you can assess yourself that how you are doing it, and then we are there to help you.
Yes, and then case scenario booklet is another revisionary resource that is available for you. It is this booklet is very important because this booklet is containing, a number of case scenarios for your practice. And you would also be, while reading that case scenarios, you would be not only be getting an idea how the these case scenarios questions are being asked in the examination, but in fact, it is a kind of revision also. When you will be reading the case scenario booklet, that case scenario booklet are also containing the answers with reasoning. So you can just once again go through that reasonings also, and that will definitely make you to revise the concepts once again. And besides with that, you are having this online MCQ dashboards. So after reading all these things, you can go testing yourself. You can go through this dashboard and you can solve the various questions available there. Even the independent nature of questions are also there on the dashboard. And also with that, you are having the case scenarios questions from the topic, different topics. So you can just solve these cases and at the very same moment you will get the result also. So that will also bring the confidence yes, we are able to, we are able to do and appear in the exam and we are ready to go for the exams. And somewhere if you are missing out, still you have a time, you can cover up yourself. So
and if you need somewhere help, you can refer to our live virtual classes. Suppose you are reading a topic and at that time you feel that, okay, I'm still not able to understand or grasp this concept. So we have our live virtual classes. The recorded lectures are also available for you, and those are free of cost. You can just go to ICAI
YouTube is there, ICI TV is there, ICI YouTube is there,
and then refer that relevant topic and go to that relevant portion. Just listen to it. This is a very big revisionary resource also for you.
Yes, and that too detailed one. If suppose you want to, and you can just increase your, if you're watching on YouTube, you can increase the speed and that you can save. And somewhere you feel like you are already well able to, you are well conversant with any of the concept, but in another concept you would be taking more time or somewhere you have the confusion. There you can listen in the normal mode. Rest you can just listen the lectures once again, just in order to get revised with the whole concept in entirety once again in the form of a thorough revisions, you can say. That is also.
And if some student just wants revision kind of a thing, just revision. Then you must be aware about the live virtual revisionary classes which are going on. So you can attend that also. There where the primary focus on revision and question practice.
Yes, though revision is that, it doesn't mean that you'll be restricting only to whatever has been discussed over there. It should not be like that. You have to cover everything because you have no choice at all to leave any of the thing. But yes, certain key concepts are being covered. The key concept means everything is important, but this is also the important thing.
Yes. Of a thing.
Yes. So you need to just go with its LVRC, the revisionary classes. The LVC revisionary classes is there. And yes, there are certain methods you can discuss with any of the concept over there. If something you have not understood or something you have missed out, so through these revisionary classes, you can ask the faculty at the very same moment these questions or whatever the queries or doubt you have in any particular topic.
So your one-stop solution to have everything is your BoS knowledge portal, and you can see those things either on the Android phone, either laptop is there, but you can also download the BoS mobile app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Stores.
Yes. Since mobile is as of now your best friend, every time you are carrying with yourself. So I think you should really utilize being as a friend to the mobile. You should always, wherever required, you can go through this BoS mobile app and you can see any of the lectures, any of the webcasts that are going presently, to just be in touch with the recent developments or the things that are going for the benefit of you students.
So ma'am, as we are talking about amendment, shall we discuss the amendment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see the amendment.
Luckily, this time there is only one single amendment which are relevant for you. Though, as Shraddha said, there were many things, but yes, we have to take up and consider only the relevant amendments because we are not covering every rules and regulations in our, our study material in our syllabus. Only those which we feel like that anything requires as explanation, something important things. Something is mentioned in the rule, so that rule is forming the part of the study material. So as of that, only one amendment that has come with respect to the companies incorporated outside India. So that has been made relevant for you students. You could make it out. This is given in the RTP actually.
Just a moment.
So in RTP, every time we give the amendments and also separately, we just web host on the website for the convenience of the students. So we are just going to share that amendments.
I hope the screen is visible to you.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it's visible.
So you could see this is the amendment that is relevant for September 2025 examination. So you would be seeing generally the amendments are made, they are being enforced by the regulating authorities through the way of the circulars or the notifications. So here this is a notification which has been which has been given on 12th of August 2024. Okay, so this amendment was given with respect to the chapter 11 of the study material, that is the companies incorporated outside India. So that amendment has come through the way of the enforcement of the rules. There has been an amendment in the rules, and the rule, the original rule was the companies registration of foreign companies rule 2014. Okay, and through the enforcement of this registration of foreign companies amendment rules 2024, the amendment has been made in the original rules of this particular
in the
subject.
2014 rules.
In 14 rules, because that is a parent rule. Okay, so in that rule itself, they have made the amendment, but via amendment rules 2024. So now you will seeing that it is mentioned that in rule 3, because we are covering over there in the study material, this rule 3. Yeah. In rule 3, there we have also described the word registrar. Okay. And so what they done through this amendment? Now through the amendment, they have replaced the word, only the word registrar with the word registrar central registration center. Means now in place of registrar, what the word shall be? Registrar central registration center. This complete word will be there in rule 3.
Okay? And the similar amendment has been made in rule 8
yes. So their provision has been inserted in fact. तो provision में उन्होंने बस ये बोला कि that a document for registration by a foreign company, whichever is referred under rule 3, which we have said so as of now, shall be delivered in form FC1 to the registrar central registration center. Because earlier in the rule 3 there was only word registrar, but now completely through this rule 3 amendment they have replaced the word to the registrar central registration center. And similarly in the rule 8, when they add the provision, this usage of the word registrar will be replaced with this word, the registrar central registration center. This is only the one amendment is there, and for sake of convenience of you students, we have given this the older version of the act also, so that
how you have to replace it. Like we have this word registrar shall be replaced by what word that you have read just before now, and how this is to be done. Like in this, the word is replaced, and the provision to rule 8.1 is newly inserted.
But as a reference of same rule is given over there also. That is why these two are interconnected. If you have read rule 3 amendment, then you will be able to make out whatever amendment has been made in rule 8 through the insertion of the new provision. This is only the thing that is relevant for you for the amendment part.
Hope so all is clear till now. So let's move further.
So students, you can just come up with your queries also. Somewhere if you are not able to ask as of now, then you can just ask the queries. But let's see now, go with the examination tips. Okay, now let's first get how is the paper patterns, because when you will be newly to the any paper pattern, directly you will see the first time any paper, so definitely you will be little bit surprised that oh, one there is a compulsory question and there is of course a choice also. If you are not aware of it, may be possible something you may be missed out. So that is why we just want that our students should be apprised of just the basic, the paper pattern.
Like the paper pattern can be changed. It's up to the paper, the person who is making the paper, that how paper will be there. But generally, more or less, the paper pattern is normally same.
Paper pattern is not just the sequencing of chapter numbers, or you can say the question numbers can be just, it can be a little bit just shifted here and there with some other
but
questions.
That's for sure that somewhere some compulsory questions will be there. The MCQ will be for 30 marks, descriptive will be for 70 marks. So that is there. So it is very important for you to be acquainted with how generally the paper pattern is there.
Yes.
So for that, how will you refer it? See the past year papers, either only the question paper, but the better way is to see it through the suggested answers. So the suggested answers will be containing the questions as well as the answers.
Yes. Then you would be seeing this illustrative pattern. So you would be seeing broadly our paper has been divided into two divisions. So you will be seeing that one division, division A, is being related to the MCQ part. So you will be provided two sheets, actually two sets of the question paper. One will be the MCQs and other will be the descriptive question papers. Okay. So this division A, which is your MCQ, this is 30 marks. Fine. Another is of 70 marks.
So this, okay, so
And along with this MCQs paper, they will also be given the OMR sheet just for filling up, the correct options. So there, the thing is that you doesn't need to write your answers in your copies. So don't do up that mistake, because already for MCQs, there will be an OMR sheet which you have to fill it either with pen or a pencil, read the instruction, whatever is given
yes,
over there.
you read the instructions
Yes.
very carefully, because the instructions which are given to you by the examination department are along with that admit card. You need to be reading that. Hope so there is no change in that. So read them very carefully. So though you have division A, which is your MCQs. So this is for 30 marks and this is all compulsory. And in this you have a case scenario based question as well as independent case scenario based question. So what is the difference between the two is that if I say case scenario based questions, a scenario will be given and it will be followed by 3 to 4 MCQs. Okay. And an independent case scenario question means that it will be small caselet kind of a thing. A scenario will be given and that will be followed by just a single MCQ. So you have to attempt all. Every MCQ will have 4 options and you have to choose the best. Okay, option. And there is no negative marking in this.
No reasoning required.
Yes, you don't have to write directly. You don't have to give descriptions that why you are writing it. So by reasoning, we mean that, but it has to be somewhere in your mind. So MCQ portion, ma'am, is basically very scoring for the students. We have seen students who score actually very good marks, sometimes 28, 26 out of 30.
Yes.
But the flip side to this is, since there is no description required, why you are choosing it. So there is either hit or miss. So it will be 0 or 2. All the MCQs which will come in your examination will be of 2 marks and they will be mostly on the application basis. Like it will not be directly requiring you to code like
section number or
section number.
Direct questions is generally
avoided.
Yes.
Most of the questions will be of a kind that they will be requiring you to analyze whatever the facts were given in the case scenario or the small caselet, and then you have to apply that facts plus the legal provision that is applicable to them and then arrive at the correct conclusion, or rather I should say the correct option you have to choose.
Yes, even the line or the words that Shraddha has used, the appropriate answers. Sometimes happens that individually if you are referring any option, the as per provision it seems to be correct. But when you read in line with the facts given, because as per the facts, as per the situation, you need to apply the law. So that is being tested. So remember that the most appropriate answer is to be given in line with what the provision says and what the fact has been given over there.
So now let's come to division B. It is like for 70 marks, and generally as per the past practice we have seen that question 1 is compulsory, that you have to attempt all the questions in that question. And your then you will be having remaining 5 questions, and in that you have to attempt any 4 questions. So internally, if you see division A, which is your MCQ portion, there is no choice. But when you come to division B, which is your 70 marks, so you can make it like 2 parts are there. One is for compulsory question and the other is out of 5 questions, you have to attempt any 4 questions. So what happens in this is that you have a choice of full 1 question. But that nowhere means that you should leave any topic. What happens is they can make that question that is there that will have 3 to 4 subparts. Okay, like question 1 will have 3 or 4. Similarly, all the questions will have 3 or 4 subparts. If you leave any of the topics, supposedly in question 2 you have you can do 2 parts. Third part, C part you cannot do because you have not advised. That can be the seen in every question. So choice is there, but that choice, how it will play around in the questions, you cannot guess that this will be combined with this or this can be combined with this. So it is always requested that complete the whole syllabus. Do not do selective study. You can do one thing if time is less. concentrate more on the parts which you feel like, okay, I can do better. Okay, but never leave any topic, because now if you see the past papers, questions are coming, even they are picking up the lines and making questions. So don't leave anything. That is a humble request that we can make to you.
Even you can evidence by making last 2 to 3 attempts paper. You can make it out. There is no similarity. There is no like fixed criteria. Ki only from these particular topics the questions will be tested. So there is nothing like that. So the thing is that you need to revise and you need to prepare in that sense that you are being able to cover to the extent possible the complete your syllabus. And that too, if you could also make it out one more thing, because it's somewhere what the Shraddha has already told you, you have got no choice. Because sometimes it may be possible that if you left in topic considering कि yes इसको तो सिर्फ 4 नंबर का पूछा जाता है, only this portion has been allotted just of 5 marks or one single question comes over there. But that again, what Shraddha said, it can be asked in any of the subparts. So because of that subpart, somewhere you may miss out some of your marks. So that could be of a great help. Even one single marks also sometimes कहते हैं ना, it will be a कहते हैं आपका वो exemptions के लिए या pass होने के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी होता है. So
and recently what we have seen that sometimes they are not asking any question from a full chapter. Actually, the point is, if you have seen the blueprint that is available on the website, we will not go much into details, that is there. So what happens is, there is a cluster of chapters that has been provided a certain percentage. So you cannot say that, okay, this chapter was important. The whole portion, like chapter 1 to 4, are in one group. And they are provided certain percentage that, okay, out of 70 marks, they should at least ask this much. That is like, has been prescribed. But you cannot say, okay, they did not ask from chapter 4 or chapter 2 or chapter 1. So as far as this is concerned, the choice portion, okay, at least 10 marks will come from chapter 10. This is just for example, I'm saying. You now cannot say that, because definitely something that you have left may be asked, or something that you have prepared very well. Okay, 10 marks question is that they may not ask it. So request you not to go in for selective study. However, one thing is for sure, which students generally do not do, is they leave or concentrate less on ma'am other laws portion. You would be saying, why ma'am is saying again and again and again other laws portion? Can I have my module 3? Yeah, give me all the 3 modules. So if you see, the Companies Act portion is in these 2 modules. Like, just look at the thickness. And they are like quite number of pages. But if I see, which these 2 are for 60 marks. Mota mota, they are of 60, 55, 60, 65, 55 to 65 marks, these 2. But if I see this chotu sa booklet, you see, this is module 3. This is for how many marks? 40 marks, because this consists of LLP and the other laws. That is for sure that LLP and other laws have to come for approximately 38 to 45 marks. Okay. So if by just everything is hard, choose your hard. So just see, this is 60 marks in my hand, and this is like what? 40 marks in my hands. You have to, don't skip it, or don't make a fuss out of it. Okay, how will I do it? If you concentrate more, then you will have a satisfaction inside. Okay, I have at least done 38 to 45 marks. Minimum 38 marks will come from here. So that's what we can advise you. So how to manage time in examination? As we discussed that 15 minutes will be given to you for reading. So use that time, not only in just reading, have a quick glance to the entire paper. It will first of all make you less fearful of the paper when you again see it. Secondly, it will help you to have a brief idea, okay, I can attempt this question first. Or sometimes what happens, especially with MCQs, ma'am, students start guessing the answer there itself. So their time is saved when they actually do it. So select the questions that you would be attempting from all the questions, then mark the questions that you will be attempting first. So as far as we know, it is not allowed you to make any marks on the question paper. So make a mental note of it. Mark the questions. By this we mean that make a mental note of it. Then allocate an estimated time for each question based on their difficulty level and marks carried, keeping aside 10 to 15 minutes of revision. Adhere to the time allocated. So this is a very, very, very important point, considering that you have 180 minutes of paper solving time and 15 minutes of your reading time. In those 15 minutes, do not attempt to start solving or putting too much of mind at what will happen, because if you do that, then you will not be able to complete reading the whole paper, which is the aim. Because once you start solving then and there, you are not allowed to use your pen paper, I think, in that reading time. You are not allowed, so as far as we know. So you will not be able to do the calculation. You will not be able to start writing about it. So try to just read it. In the MCQ portion, it becomes easier for you because you read the question and you know, okay, this may be the answer. So 180 marks is for 100 marks. 180 minutes is for 100 marks. So do what? 180 divided by 100. So it's like 1.8 minutes per mark. So then, though there is no 10 marks question, so if the 10 marks question would have been there, so 18 minutes. So we have generally 5 marks. So you can have 9 to 10 minutes for a 5 marks question. Okay, so this is like this. But we have written a line, keep aside 10 to 15 minutes for revision. So this 9 minutes you have to reduce to around approximately 7 minutes, or for every question only 8 minutes, so that at the end you get approximately 10 minutes, minimum 10 minutes for revision. This is a very, very, very important point. What happens is when we are writing in a flow, we skip and, or sometimes the answer is like, okay, it is not valid. The resolution was not valid or the contention was valid. And since we are in a hurry, we may change it to it was not valid or if it is valid. So we miss certain not, and that gets missed very easily. And what happens more is while we are doing the question and by the end we think, okay, iska answer to ye bhi ho sakta tha, mere dimag mein ye point nahi aaya. That happens with all of us. Like we are also speaking to, sometimes we think, okay, this could have also be done. So keep that time for revision. Okay. And there is line in it, for each question based on their difficulty level and marks carried. Supposedly there is a question of 5 marks, but it is very easy. It can be done within 5 minutes because the question is very easy. So you can do it very easily. Now, supposedly there is another question of 5 marks or 6 marks, but that question takes much more time. The difficulty level of that question is like a bit more. You cannot say the paper was difficult. Why? Because if one question was easy, that is being compensated by one question was difficult. Or rather, to put it more positively, if a question was difficult and it required more than 9-10 minutes, there was another question that required you only 5-6 minutes. So you could have saved time here, there. Be very sure of one thing. If a question requires you to answer certain things and you keep on explaining again and again and again, you will not get extra marks for that. Try to be to the point and give a complete answer in terms of your language, as well as keywords, key points, and your full provision and conclusion kind of a thing. We will be discussing that. Do not write anything and everything, even if you know it, because that will not fetch you extra marks.
Yes. So that is why you need to know how much you need to write is as per the requirement of the question. So somewhere you have to restrict the word limit because you have to attempt the entire paper within this 3 hours. So that needs to be strategized. Yes, as we have allocated time, as Shraddha has discussed this time allocation, how you can allocate the time during the papers on each and every question. So if something suppose happens, you have crossed the time and suppose something is being left to be written more, so you can at that time, you can either leave certain space and you can move on to the next questions. And when in the last you are seeing and whenever you get the time, you can write the conclusion or something is being left out, you can attempt the later on. But yes, the main target and clarity should be that you have to write the complete paper. You have to attempt every question.
100 marks
Yes.
means you have to attempt 100 marks.
Then only it will be possible what you're looking for. Yes, whatever you have aimed, I have to score at least this marks. Then only it will be feasible for you. So please write to the point as per the requirement of the questions.
So last point is also dealing with this only. Write each answer in commensuration with the marks carried. We
Yes.
have already discussed it.
And this is about the MCQs. So yes, already said ki yes, in the MCQs there are 4 options. Of course, the options are so well given. One of the other options ki that if you does not have the conceptual understanding, or if you don't have the proper knowledge of the particular provisions, you will not be able to mark the correct answer. You will somewhere you will be confused within the options. That is, I'm sure. Because if you are not clear in your thoughts, in your knowledge, then what happens? You will find, oh, while reading every options, you'll find, oh, this option is also right. And again, you're reading next option, that also seems to be right. So that is why what exactly the law specifies, what are the, you can say, what are the requirement of any law in order to solve the question, that only comes when you have the deeper understanding or the conceptual understanding of that particular question. And this only helps in the MCQs. So that is why we not only emphasize our students to have a, the concept is very important. So you should have the proper understanding of the subject. So that will really help you in the answering of the MCQs. And that too, you have to choose the most appropriate, the correct answer. And as already said, appropriate answer already told you. Then yes, in the case scenarios, always it is being suggested or advised to ask students, ki, yes, kindly read the scenario carefully. Because already I've said you earlier that sometimes independently reading the provisions will give you, okay, this option is same. But when you are reading in line with what the facts are being laid down in the case scenario, so your option will be changed. If you apply the law, something else will be coming out. So read the scenario carefully, what all facts is given, in what circumstances that particular act has been done, or what were the requirements that will need to be complied in order to do any task or any work or any kind of the transactions to be taken place, and that has whether been complied or not in line with the legal requirements. And so whenever the question or MCQs is being asked, so you need to just rethink what the provision says about what was the legal requirement mentioned over there in order to comply or in order to do any work in a valid manner. So then you need to, in line with that legal provision and in the circumstances, the question that it is asking or the legal issues given over there, you have to come up with the answers. So you have to read in between lines. Sometimes it happens. What happens? Key sometimes the provision says something else, but yes, in the light of the given facts, either with the very simple, it is a not. Suppose something is there, not being complied. So now, if you're not having the clarity, if you're not able to make it out what exactly the question is asking, so you may be little bit confused and you may mark the correct answer. So you read the question properly, whether it is being asked in negative manner or in a positive sense. And then the statement given is given in the negative manner or in a positive way. So then accordingly, you have to draw meaning what the law requires, and then the statement which you are considering as a right answer, or whichever is the right statement given over there, you need to draw the interpretation or the constructions. Yes, the law says see this, whether the answer or the statement is given in negative or positive, you have to draw the correct interpretation of the law and then mark the correct answer. And because of that, many times students mark the correct option in such a situation, wherever the question is being asked in the negative. So read the questions properly and the statement also.
So this we can take up while we are discussing a question.
Okay.
This we will take up. Okay, writing of section numbers in exams. These are very journal queries that we get, how should we remember the section numbers? Should we quote section numbers in exam? And is it compulsory? So first of all, writing of section numbers is not compulsory at intermediate level. Like it is like that you have to write, other your marks will be deducted. That is not there. But as a good secretarial practice, or rather, I should say, as a good chartered accountant, dealing with, like, if I ask you about the Income Tax Act, you would be definitely remembering that best judgment is like 144, and all those things you would be remembering. There would not be like that. You would not be remembering the sections, that it has to be filed under, the return has to be filed under which section. It has to be filed under 137, 139, 144, or 147, whatever is there. So you need to remember those sections. You don't learn them. You keep on repeating them. So repetition is the key word here, that you have, while you are reading the provision, keep on repeating the section numbers, and in that sense what will happen is it will be definitely in your mind somewhere that okay, this is there. You don't learn it, but it gets automatically in your mind. Writing of section numbers is not compulsory. However, as a good chartered accountant, it is expected that you write at least few of the section numbers in the examination. And in no way, in any circumstance, do not quote a wrong section number.
Yes. So this is just add, bring you to your answers.
Yes.
Yeah. Then assumptions are there. The law is basically very, dynamic nature, and there are various kind of the interpretations to can be, that can be drawn under the different situation or the circumstances. So whenever in the question there is a possibility of drawing more than one correct answer, and it is basically only because either some information is missing, or you can say there is something incomplete lying over there, or something which you can, construed under the something facts is
ambiguous is there, or sometimes
is missing out some information, you can say, or some legal requirement is not there in the question which is needed in order to make that particular act a valid one, or so that you could make it out. In that situation you can draw an assumption. You will take okay, this either has been complied with, and then you are giving the answer, or somewhere other person may take okay, this was not done, that is where the answer will altogether change it. So you need to draw an assumption considering yes, this is not given clearly in the question, or that not been specified. So under this situation, considering that this has not been done, and so you have given this answer.
So you may draw a valid assumption and it's not drawing, you have to keep it in your mind. You have to quote that why I am doing it. Like, this is the thing I'm doing it because as per the facts of the question and the legal provision, this seems to be a valid thing. Sometimes assumptions can be like, okay, this has been complied with, that's why it's being done. Then sometimes the assumption can be such that, okay, this was not done according to the lines written in the question. So I think that now I am doing it as if it has not been complied with. The third assumption that can be drawn is, in the scenario given in the question and the law says this, from the reading of the question, this meaning comes up. But you have to be very sure that whatever assumption you are thinking, you have to write it properly. Then there is one more thing. Do not draw any vague assumption.
Reasonable, proper assumption should be taken.
So be very sure of it. So apply your mind and then apply the assumption. And it's not like that you have to apply assumption on every question. You have to apply only when it is very reasonable. आप हर क्वेश्चन में ये नहीं कह सकते अच्छा मैंने तो ये सोचा था, वो रीजनेबल होनी चाहिए, उस फैक्ट्स को देखते हुए, लीगल circumstances को देखते हुए, लीगल प्रोविजन को देखते हुए.
Prima facie it also reflects in your question कि okay, this is not there, so a proper assumptions may be drawn. And sometimes on the basis of the requirement of the act, something is important information is missing, then you can take that particular assumption. Now looking at the length of the answer, again this is very much important aspect from the point that you need, since you have to complete the entire paper. So limit your length of the answer in line with the marks allotted to the particular questions. So draw your मतलब own कहते हैं ना, आपको अपनी boundaries खुद बनानी, in the sense कि कितने marks का पूछा गया है, accordingly you have to give your answer.
और उसका हमने आपको एक ये तो बता दिया है 1.8 minutes for 1 marks, और पूरा जो आपसे अभी डिस्कस किया था commensuration with the marks as well as time allotted आपको देखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि बाकी क्वेश्चंस भी हैं आपके पास सॉल्व करने के लिए.
Then आपका ये है कुछ छोटे छोटे points हैं, but yes, it's important for you student, अपना answer never given in the generalized way. You should see to the extent possible should be pertaining to the provisions, and that should be given in a proper, legible manner, and that too proper language should be there. So it should not be in a generalized way. So take a note of it, क्योंकि ऐसा होता है कई बार बच्चे आते हैं and they start thinking मैम उनको पूरा आंसर लिखा है, then why we were not able to get proper or good marks. So this is all because काफी generalized way में लिखा होता है. Because what happens, law has its own specialty, it's its own language. So you need to practice to have your hold on that particular language. So how it will come just from practice only. When you're going to practice the writing of the answers through the way of practicing through the suggested answers or these MTPs or the RTPs, so definitely you will develop that practicing or writing of the way the answer is being expected in this professional course. So just do up that and kindly try to maintain that thing that you are writing answer in as per the expected level, not in the generalized manner. So you should avoid that then.
Technical team, kindly allow the students to send us the chats. Allow the students to send us chats. If any student wants to ask any question, they can send us through the chat in the Zoom. Yeah. So there is one more point to is generalized answer. We have like generalized answer also means that students come to us that they wrote the full answer or they wrote the correct answer, but then they miss very many important points. And by legal language, as ma'am said, we are not expecting the students to write exact the legal language. It should be a legible English language, but it should contain the keywords as well as some professional touch should be there. Like it should not be like you are making some just bullet points or
in a tables,
in a tabular format or diagrammatic representation, or only you are like we say that write the keywords. It should not be like that you should be writing only the keywords. So write in full English sentences and legible English language, full sentences should be there. Then no shorthand notes, diagrams should be there. Then you should avoid short forms, WhatsApp language, SMS language, okay. And what is WAT, what?
Then and का ND या फिर से कोई simple, these are the words.
So these kind of things should be avoided. And as far as short forms are concerned, like if you have to write FEMA for Foreign Exchange Management Act. So while you have started writing the answer, you can write as per the provisions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, in bracket write FEMA, comma 1999, comma, and then write the provision. And suppose that FEMA is to come 2 to 3 times again in that answer, then you can write FEMA 1999. But once it is very important for you to give the full act or full form of that thing with the abbreviation, and then you can use those abbreviations later on.
Yes.
So this is about both the things. And as we are discussing that, okay, what all needs to be done, should we take up a question?
Questions, yeah.
Okay.
So that at least you students may get yes, what are the things while writing the answers. When you are writing your answer, there are certain kind of, that flow in the answer should be there. That means you should be properly, there should be coming out a reference of the relevant provision to which the sections prevail. And then also with whatever the legal issues that has been given in the question, that should be pointed out over there, and how you have been applying in that legal issues, that relevant provisions over there. So that should also be shown. And then conclusion, which is again the important aspect. Somewhere you need to conclude your answer. Whatever is the question is asking, somewhere in the end, you need to give the conclusion of the answer also. So that way, everything has a steps. Let me tell you one thing very frankly, your answers in the law has a step marking. Don't forget about that. So provision will be having certain options, and you know that your applications where you're linking both the things, the provisions as well as the relevant rules, or this you can say the act. So you'll be finding that that will be having certain portion of the marks allotted to you, and finally the conclusion will be having certain marks. So that way, don't miss out any of the steps while writing a descriptive answers. So make it sure that you are covering all the steps in order to get the complete marks. So this is the way why, that is why we just want to deal over here the questions also, so that you can get an idea.
So should we first take up one descriptive question with them?
We can take any of the thing. We can go with the descriptive.
Since you were
also.
discussing about the
Yeah,
descriptive thing, so
Any question.
okay, which question should we? So this question is from your latest RTP.
Yeah, so why we have taken up RTP, because already we have gone through it. It will be possible to correlate it because something new is going to be taken, so maybe possible that will not be able to correlate and link with it. You can take any of the question. You can.
Which question should we take?
So let's start with something easy, because many people have fear of these other laws. As you said, generally people. Let's start with the FEMA. Last question. Let's take that. FEMA is, very important law. In the economic scenario, you'll be finding that FEMA is very important legislation to regulate the markets, somewhere the greater investments that are being done either from within India, but outside, the investors are there or the companies are there, or similarly from here, if we are going to do any overseas investments, then this FEMA is the important act that regulates these kinds of a nature of the acts. So here is the question that is based on the FEMA you would be seeing over here.
So this is about and Miss Pearl, who is an Indian citizen, and then she has gone to USA, and she has stayed there for 15 years. So one thing to be seen is here is that she is an Indian citizen. Okay, now she is in USA for 15 years, and during her stay that she has purchased a residential house in USA. Now, after 15 years of stay in USA, she is moving back to India, and then they are telling that she has joined a software company in India. Now, as she had moved back to India, she let out her house in USA and deposited the obtained rent in her account. So the scenario is she's an Indian citizen. She went to USA, stayed there for 15 years. In those 15 years, she has purchased a residential property there, that is in USA, and now she has moved back to India permanently. And now what she's saying that that house in USA is still there, and she has rented it, and the rent from that house is coming, and where she is depositing it, she's depositing it in her USA account only. Now they are asking that now she's in India. So what should be like the option for this house? They are asking that whether she can purchase another house in USA from her account in USA. जो उसका USA का पैसा था, क्या उसी से वो एक और घर खरीद सकती है? Give your answer referring to the provisions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act. So they have defined the name of the act also.
Yes. और FEMA ने जैसे बोला कि if you do any transaction, whether within in India or with outside India, so we need to say whether there's a change in any kind of liabilities or the assets. If this is being there, then definitely there comes into the picture of the capital account transactions. So you must have been seeing in the FEMA, basically there are two kinds of the, the regulations of the transactions you would be seeing broadly, which are being categorized under different schedules over there under the rules. So you'll be seeing there is one current account transactions, which is governed by Section 5 of the FEMA, and another is the permissible capital account transaction, which is governed under Section 6 of the FEMA. So there has been defined, yes, what all nature of transactions can be done. There are certain kind of the transactions which is either fully restricted, fully prohibited, which cannot be done at all. Okay, there are certain nature of transactions, yes, which can be done, but under certain restrictions. There are certain conditions. After fulfillment of that condition, that could be done at all. And of course, there are certain transactions which can be done with the prior permission of the RBI. So if this is there, then this will be a current account transactions where you are being required to remit certain amount of money, suppose from India to outside India, for certain specified purposes which are given in the schedule with the specified limits over there. So if you are going within that limits, of course, you does not require any RBI approval. Okay, and if you are just exceeding those limits, so they need the prior permission of the RBI. But then, since this question is asking about the change in the liability and the assets, that is with respect to immovable property. So this is the basic difference in current account transaction and capital account transaction. The current account transaction deals with immovable nature of the things. For example, with respect to sending up any amount for studying or for some kind of, you can say for visiting, someone is visiting to some private place outside India, then they need some amount. So that is dealing with respect to other than immovable properties. But in case of permissible capital account transactions, there needs to be, or this is being specifically dealt with respect to the, you can say the immovable property. That means something which changes your assets and the liabilities. So that is the thing is there with respect to this permissible capital account transaction. So here in the question itself is talking about the money that they have earned is from the property which is there abroad, and from that money, whatever they have earned is the rent which they have earned in their USA account, that they are going to utilize that whatever amount is there, and from that amount they are going to purchase itself over there only the another property. So you could see it and make it out that this is being, first of all, it is pertaining to the permissible capital account transactions. So this is here that you have to give the reference of section 6. Further, there under section 6 subsection 4, if you have already read it, then you will be finding that there have been prescribed certain legal framework. Okay, that is talking about the capital account transactions with respect to purchase or sale of any property abroad. So whether it may be by residents or you can say the non-residents. So that is itself there. They can acquire, they can hold, they can or transfer in fact any kind of the foreign currency, or you can say the foreign security, or any kind of immovable property situated outside India. But of course, there are two conditions being given over there. Only when such property was acquired, hold, or owned by such person when he was resident outside India, okay, or has been inherited from a person who was, resident outside India. Since he has acquired that property when he was living in USA. And from that property only, he has what he has done, whatever the rent he has acquired from that property, again, he is utilizing that same amount, okay, the same amount that she is utilizing to purchase another property over there. So you can see that since she has moved back to India, and again, she just thinking, okay, if she's going to bring that amount back to India, then again, she has to seek the approval of the RBI, and certain compliance need to be complied with. So what she did, she utilized that rent, whatever she has just having in her account in USA, she simply utilized that amount and she has purchased another property. So yes, it is permissible, and it does not require any kind of, prior approval. Because it's nothing, there is no change of any kind of liabilities, you can say.
So everything is happening outside India. It's just that she's, but why the FEMA provisions will be applicable on her? Because right now she is residing in India.
Yes, because something which is, you can say changing the boundaries, something is happening. So there are certain regulations. Otherwise, this is a kind of a law that regulates or management the, the foreign exchange, foreign transactions. So that is why here the FEMA is applicable over here.
So, but when you will be writing the answer in the examination, you cannot be writing the way we are telling you. Like this was kind of that, okay, what all applicable provisions are there? We have in this like 5-6 minutes, we have told you about what are capital account transactions, what are current account transactions, why this and that. But while you will be writing the answer, you have to just stick to what is being asked. So if we see this answer, we have given according to section 6(4) of the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. So you have to write this word according to, if you remember the section number, it's okay. If you don't, according to the provisions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, a person resident in India. Okay, how you will remember this is like a person resident in India may, like you have to remember these words, may hold or own or invest in some foreign currency. Okay, foreign currency, foreign security, or any immovable property situated outside India. These things, if you remember, how you will remember? Own, hold, transfer, or invest in some foreign currency or foreign security or any immovable property situated outside India, then when should it happen? If that what they are telling is या तो आप currency कर सकते हो या security कर सकते हो या property कर सकते हो, that if such currency or security or property,
sorry to interrupt you, but only why I'm just interrupted, Shraddha, because here we are talking with respect to the foreign security, the foreign something in abroad.
Outside India.
Yes, so their currencies, you can say their
security, currency, security या immovable property.
वो भी that was situated over there.
तो अगर आप देखोगे तो लर्न आपको सिर्फ 3 ही वर्ड्स करने हैं, ओन, होल्ड, ट्रांसफर, ओके, और इन्वेस्ट. और किस चीज का? सिक्योरिटी का, इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी का, या फिर करेंसी का. कौन सी? फॉरेन करेंसी, फॉरेन सिक्योरिटी, या फिर प्रॉपर्टी सिचुएटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया. सो और ये कब होना चाहिए? दैट बाय सच पर्सन व्हेन ही वाज रेजिडेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया, okay, or inherited from a person who was resident. Even if you don't write full sentences, you can write it like this also. तो आप इसको अगर pointers में भी break करोगे ना, it will be in your mind. You read it 3 to 4 times, you will be able to make it in your own words. Then you have to correlate and give a conclusion. So as per the facts, Miss Pearl, during her stay in USA, she purchased that house and now she wants to utilize the rent from that house in buying another property in USA, that is outside India. So as per the provisions, as well as the facts, Miss Pearl can purchase the new house in USA from her USA account. So that's it. अगर आप देखो provision इसका main था, लेकिन अगर आपने conclusion नहीं लिखा, definitely 1 or 2 marks will be gone.
बिल्कुल, जैसा कि बोला स्टेप मार्किंग है, तो मेक इट अ नोट की तरह आप उसी तरह से लिखें. आपने प्रोविजन मेंशन किया, आपने लीगल इशू भी पॉइंट कर दिया और आपने कंक्लूजन भी दे दिया. तो देन इट इज बी कंसीडर्ड एज द आंसर इन इट्स एंटायरिटी. दैट इज बीइंग नीडेड इन कंप्लीट इन इट्स सेंस.
मैम क्योंकि ऑलरेडी 3:10 हो चुका है, सो लेट्स जस्ट डिस्कस अ केस सिनेरियो.
हां बिल्कुल. लेट्स टेक द फर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो. This case scenario, you know, it has its great importance. Why I'm talking about? Because case scenarios can be individually focusing on one single section also, or it can be focusing on, you know, by integrating number of different sections over here. So, you know, this first case scenario, this is the couples wala case scenario you could see over here. So this is based on various sections. We'll be seeing, you'll be finding here section 56, based on 56, then based on section 58, 62, and 67, 68. So you'll be finding many sections have been tested in one case scenario. So that is why we have said you have got no choice to skip any of the sections. This is why we are always emphasizing and saying on. Because if you have read or skipped something, you have missed out any of the sections, definitely you will not be able to solve any of the MCQs which may be based on that particular, you know, that legal provisions.
और आपके पास कोई चॉइस भी नहीं होती इन केस ऑफ एमसीक्यूज.
एमसीक्यूज में कोई चॉइस नहीं है. अगर आपको 5 एमसीक्यूज करने हैं सपोज, या 4 हैं, एंड इफ यू मिस आउट एनी वन एमसीक्यू, देन डायरेक्टली विल लूज 2 मार्क्स. सो काइंडली गो थ्रू इट, एंड दीज ऑल आर इंटर रिलेटेड. सो जब आप शेयर करते हैं, कोई भी चैप्टर पढ़ रहे हैं, तो यू विल फाइंडिंग all the sections are interrelated. आप उसमें कोई चॉइस मत रखिएगा. जो भी चैप्टर पढ़ते हैं, read it completely and fully. So make it a point, okay?
So this is a case scenario wherein we are talking about a Kapoor Limited. So this is by Kapoor Limited. If you read the first line, so what do you mean? It is a private limited company or a public limited company? It will definitely should come into your mind. So this is a mid-sized listed manufacturing company. So they have not only mentioned with the word limited, they are telling you that this is a public limited company, and then they are also telling you that this is a listed company. Okay, and then they are giving that it was incorporated in the year 2010 by Mr. R.D. Kapoor, and he has 2 sons, Vineet and Aditya. So both these kids are like, his sons are working in the same company as directors. Then they are again telling you further facts are given. So that in the year 2016-17, there was some compliance issue. And what was that compliance issue? the company issued redeemable preference shares but later failed to pay dividends on them for some time, then you should know that, okay, what should happen in such a case. In September 2018, the company fixed this by clearing all its loans and paying the pending dividends to the preference shareholders. So there was a default in 2016-17. The company issued certain irredeemable preferences. In the year 2017, in September 2018, they have even rectified the default.
Yeah.
But after resolving the issue, now in 1920, they want to come up with a new issue of equity shares with differential rights. So the timing of the years is also very important here. Now, moving on further, they are saying that they have given you more information about the kind of securities that the company is intending to issue. One is your rights issue to existing shareholders, then new class of preference shareholders to whom it would be offered to the current equity shareholders, or public issue of convertible debentures. So they are thinking of raising capital to 3 forms. Now, further, they have provided that for the right issues, they have prepared a simplified documents, and in that they have omitted certain disclosures which were required under section 26(1). They told that they want to issue preference shares. So in that they have made this problem, but excluded certain financial reporting. Okay, now then what will happen is, but for convertible debentures, they prepared a complete prospectus. So for the preference share issue, they have omitted certain disclosures, but for the convertible debentures, they are saying that we will, issue the full prospectus. Now, further information is also provided. So they, till now, the scene is different. They are telling another scene. In this, they are saying that there is one Miss Roshni, and she is having 1,500 partly paid equity shares in the company. They have given the amount that out of 10 rupees face value, only 8 are paid up. So now what happens is that on 5th July, she applied to transfer 500 shares out of 1,500. She is saying she wants to transfer 500 shares to one Mr. Bakshi, but Mr. Bakshi is not aware that whether the shares were fully paid or partly paid. So the company now is sending a notice to Mr. Bakshi on 10th July, and he received this notice on 12th July. So at that time when he received the notice, someone may have taken on his behalf. So what happened is that now this he received the letter and he saw the notice on 20th of July, and when he realized that these were partly paid, then what he is doing, he's sending a reply back to the company on 24th of July. See, all the dates you have to see, you cannot miss them. Okay, ऐसी दे रखी होंगी. अगर कोई provision में इससे कुछ related है, तो you need to be aware about the dates also. But what happened further is on 27th July, the company went ahead and they went ahead and transferred the shares, saying that his objection came too late. कंपनी ने कहा कि ये तो बड़े दिनों बाद में इन्होंने बख्शी जी ने रिप्लाई दिया है, तो हम ना इनको भेज देंगे. अब आगे क्या हुआ? According to the company's rule, the board can approve the transfer of partly paid shares if they believe the buyer can pay the remaining amount. अब उन्होंने ये मान लिया क्योंकि buyer जो है वो partly paid shares में जो 2 रुपए का amount बचा हुआ था वो आराम से दे सकता है, इसलिए कंपनी के पास उन्होंने कहा डिस्क्रिशन थी. अब आप देखो ये लाइंस बहुत ही कन्विंसिंगली लिखी हुई हैं, आपको लगेगा हो सकता है ऐसा सच में होता, बट राइट नाउ द पॉइंट इज आपका फैक्ट्स के साथ साथ आपको ये भी बहुत ज्यादा अवेयर रहना है कि प्रोविजन क्या कहता है. अब वो कह रहे हैं, एक और केस भी बता दिया उन्होंने कि ये जो कपूर लिमिटेड था, इसमें एक और शेयर होल्डर था वरुण, और क्या कहते हैं, ये जो वरुण था इज अ लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ अ डिसीज्ड शेयर होल्डर. कार्तिक जो है वो डिसीज शेयर होल्डर है और वरुण जो है वो आपका लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है. He had written an application to the company to transfer the shares of Mr. Karthik, the deceased person, in his name. वो कह रहे हैं क्योंकि मैं उसका लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हूँ. तो Mr. Varun did not receive any reply from the company. Mr. Varun went to the company office to inquire about the same. कंपनी ने कह दिया भाई हम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, as he is not the registered member of the company. कौन? वरुण जो है वो रजिस्टर्ड मेंबर नहीं है, इसलिए नहीं कर सकते हैं. फॉर योर इन्फॉर्मेशन, उन्होंने अब आपको कंपनी के फाइनेंशियल फैक्ट्स बताए हैं 31 मार्च 2024 के. पेड अप इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल है, फ्री रिजर्व कितना है, सिक्योरिटीज, प्रीमियम, सिक्योर्ड लोन्स और अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स, ये इंफॉर्मेशन उन्होंने आपको दी है. फिर वो आपको आगे बता रहे हैं कि कंपनी ने 15 सितंबर 2024 को एक बायबैक का प्रपोजल किया एंड उसमें they said that we want to purchase 3 crore of equity shares at what rate? At rupees 60 per share. The company had previously conducted a buyback of 1 crore shares, that is totaling to amount rupees 10 crore in August 2023. So they are giving you information about one more buyback which happened a few months ago. अब few months कितना ये आपको calculate करना है, because there is a provision in buyback that how many buybacks can be made in a year, amount and all that. So you should be aware about the provisions or related to buyback of shares. So this new buyback is planned in what time? They proposed in September and this is planned in October 2024. So this is also important, which falls in the financial year 2024-25. The CFO has confirmed that post buyback, the debt to equity ratio would remain within the prescribed limits. And the shares are fully paid up. Why all these lines are given? Because supposedly, ma'am, this line was not given. Fully paid up shares, these were fully paid up. Then there would have been a situation that students may get confused. And in case of, had it been a question related to descriptive, then you may have to draw an assumption. Okay, we are assuming that all the shares are fully paid up. Okay. But in this question, we have already given this information, and in case of MCQ, you cannot draw an assumption on your own because there is no place to write the assumption.
These MCQs, you are seeing that there are different questions that have been tested under different paragraphs. So you'll finding that each and every paragraph is pertaining to different relevant provisions. If you would be seeing that first paragraph which was talking about with respect to, that issue of redeemable preference shares. So you need to go into the section 62 where it was talking about the, 58, not 62, sorry, 58, where it was talking about the issue of the preference shares. So that is there. Similarly, if you go into the MCQ number 2, so it is dealing with what with respect to, that with the transfer of shares, that 58. Again, you will go over there with respect to 58. Then you will see the MCQ's third is there. It is talking about the transfer of shares to legal representatives. So that would be again testing under section 56. This is again one of the provision you'll be finding. Similarly, you'll be seeing that there are 5 MCQs and testing different scenarios, different legal provisions over here. Okay, so let's check out with the first question. So what section first is talking about and which relevant provisions will be regulated over here, and accordingly what would be the correct answer. So we'll be seeing the first provision is talking about, yes, since the default was made good in financial year 18-19, okay, and the company was further considering to issue new equity shares with differential rights. So now the question is asking, as per the provision of the Companies Act, do you think the company is eligible to issue the shares for the financial year 19-20? So if you go to the relevant para, so there it is properly defined under.
So which is the relevant para?
Yes. So it is paragraph number 2.
Yes, let's come to this paragraph.
Yes, so here already clearly the facts has been given. They have said when the companies has issued the shares in 2016-17, the company issued the redeemable preference shares, but they failed to pay the dividend on the same. So in 2018, the company fixed up all these defaults. They have cleared everything, and now they again plan to issue a further issue of new shares, new equity shares, in fact, in the year 2019-20. So you could be easily make it out. They've already rectified their defaults, and then after that, they have gone for the issue of the new preference shares. Okay, new equity shares. Yes. So you should see out that what is the provisions being governing this particular situation. So you'll be seeing section 62 is there. Section 62 talking about the further issue of the shares. So in that case, it will be says that any company can issue shares, and that shares depend upon this issue of shares basically depend upon the type of the company and the mode of the issue. So you'll be seeing it is related to the public company. And what shall be the mode of the issue of the shares? Already as given the facts also, you could make it out through the way of the right issue, or through the way of, you could be seeing through ESOP also it could be done, and also through the preferential allotment. So that is there, this is the modes. And when any company shall not be considered as eligible to issue the shares, so it has been said that where the company has failed to file the annual return or the financial statement. Okay, or where they have failed to repay the deposit or the debentures, or third, where they have failed to pay the dividends. If any of these things is being there, then that company will not be eligible to issue the new shares. And but since in the question you have already seen that these defaults had been rectified, okay, since it was rectified, and now again since company is planning to issue the new shares, so what will they, whether it can do it or not, the section clearly specifies yes, after the end of the default it can do, but yes, the
There's a
time
catch.
period, yes, certain restriction has been marked, certain time periods has been fixed by it. They have provided certain cooling period, you can say, which restrict that during that cooling period the company cannot issue the new shares, and that is given under the rules of the company share capital and debenture rules 2014. So there it has been clearly marked the time period of 5 years. Okay, from the date that default has been rectified. So since the question you will be seeing the default was rectified in 19, it was done in 18. 19. Okay, so from 19 you will count 19. So there you will count there.
So 18-19 mein, if it had made good
with the default,
then you have to count 5 years from there. So it will be 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it will be somewhere like 23, 24.
Yes.
5 years from 18-19 would be financial year 23-24
तक जाएगा बिल्कुल. If you take the last हम ये मान लेते हैं कि चलो ठीक है 31st 2024 तक लेते हैं, financial year is coming in 23-24. So we are taking that financial considering up to 31st March 2024 तक. तो आप उस हिसाब से अगर if you are going to see what should be the correct answer, तो आप option A of course altogether wrong, you could easily make it out. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो कर ही नहीं सकता है because this gap of 5 years is not being complied over here. ठीक है, डायरेक्टली जैसे उसने रेक्टिफाई किया डिफॉल्ट इज इशूड for the new share, so this could not be done up. So first option is altogether wrong. Moving to the next option, no, the company is ineligible to issue the shares as the company needs to wait 3 years till March 2022. So since it is 5 years of cooling period, again this option is also wrong.
So you need to remember that the time period was there. So there is, we have given you the time period, like in this question there are two kinds of testing. One is knowledge has to be there of 3 years or 5 years or how many years, then you need to apply it. You need to do the calculation also. Supposedly they would have written 3 years in option B, 3 years till March 31, 2021. That would also have been wrong, because then the answer, like 3 years is altogether wrong. I'm sorry. In the fourth option, suppose they would have given, no, the company is ineligible to issue shares as the company needs to wait for 5 years till March 31st, 2026. I'm taking it as a wrong option. So that also would have given, though one part of the answer would have been correct, that they need to wait for 5 years, but calculation part would have been wrong. So you need to see the knowledge part also. Okay, this is the correct provision. You need to apply it fully.
Okay, so I hope this option, this particular MCQ is clear to you. So very simple is there. Only you need to remember certain important key aspects, when it can done and when it cannot. So when it can issue, that is already been told to you, and when it cannot, certain restriction has been marked, that should be clear to you, and accordingly you need to calculate the time period, the limitation that has been imposed on the implementation of that particular legal
So
provision.
any questions till now? One student, Dipanita, wanted to, I think she has left. Okay, she wanted to ask something. So ma'am, just take, let's take one more MCQ.
Yeah.
Which one, ma'am?
Let's take a second one also. We can take it. Take anyone if you feel like. Second ले लो, third ले लो. So third लेते हैं. चलो,
Okay.
let's start with third. Okay, this is the third MCQ. Here you would be seeing that according to the provision of the companies that this question needs to be answered, because it's all based on Companies Act itself. But yes, it is specifically saying as per the provision, can the company deny the transferring shares in Mr. Varun's name, and what is the company's obligation? Since you all know that in the fact Mr. Arun was the legal representative of the deceased member Mr. Karthik. So this was there. So up now the company may deny that because Mr. Varun went to take up his shares, just want to get registered a share in his name, but company denied because it has not been registered in the the register of members. Yes, so he is not entitled to get the shares transferred on his name. The company denied. So now, in line with the Companies Act, we need to find out what the what is the company's obligation. If Mr. Varun goes over there and says, "No, I am the authorized person, I am the legal representative. You need to get transferred the shares on my name." So, is there any obligation on the company? This is simple. The question is being asked. So, if you're not aware of the legal provision, what the legal provision says about, then you will not be able to justify your answer. Actually, then you will be just only marking it at just yes, just simply anything that you feel like to be okay. So, okay, here the first option is being saying that yes, the company can refuse the transfer if he is not registered shareholder. अब ये क्वेश्चन ये इसमें क्या अब कंपनी रिफ्यूज कर सकती है,
कंपनी के पास ऑटोनॉमी है कि मेरे शेयर्स
में नहीं रहती कि whether you are LR or not, since your name is not there in the register, so simply a company can refuse the same. Then if you see the option number B, it says about no, the legal representative has right to transfer even if they are not the registered shareholder. मतलब भले ही वो registered shareholder नहीं है, but then also is entitled.
ऐसा नहीं
तो
हो
ऐसे
सकता।
में कंपनी मना नहीं कर सकती है, कंपनी को वरुण की बात माननी पड़ेगी, ठीक है। अभी मैं आपको सही आंसर नहीं बता रही हूँ। मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट, नो द कंपनी कैन डिनाई इफ द लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव नेम इज नॉट रजिस्टर्ड विद द कंपनी, मतलब वो इज नॉट एंटाइटल्ड मिस्टर वरुण, कंपनी डिनाई कर सकती है, ठीक है। एंड द फोर्थ ऑप्शन इज यस द कंपनी नीड्स द अप्रूवल ऑफ द ट्रिब्यूनल बिफोर ट्रांसफरिंग।
तो कह रहे हैं कि आप कर सकते हो, लेकिन आपको उससे पहले ट्रिब्यूनल के अप्रूवल चाहिए। जब उसका नाम नहीं है तो आपको एक हायर अथॉरिटी का चाहिए। मतलब देखो, कहीं ना कहीं आपको अगर किसी बच्चे ने प्रोविजन नहीं पढ़ा है तो उसके लिए ना ये होगा कि अच्छा हाँ हो तो सकता है, देखो क्यों कैसे ट्रांसफर करने देंगे भाई। हाँ, पर हाँ ट्रिब्यूनल तो एक हायर पावर होती है। भी, और किसी को ये भी पता है कि भाई किसी मेंबर को अगर भाई वो शेयर होल्डर अपने अगर नाम पे करना है ट्रांसफर, तो इस नेम शुड बी देयर इन द रजिस्टर ऑफ मेंबर्स। अब वो नहीं है तो मतलब उसको मिलेगा ही नहीं। आप सिंपली इसको इस वे में प्रिज्यूम करके अपने आंसर को मार्क करेंगे। बट अगर किसी ने लॉ पढ़ा है, अगर किसी ने लीगल प्रोविजन को अच्छे से कंपनीज एक्ट पढ़ा, तो कंपनीज एक्ट ने एक प्रोविजन दिया हुआ है। कंपनीज एक्ट का आपको सेक्शन जो है 56 है, वो ये क्लियरली कहता है जो लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स होते हैं ऑफ एनी डिसीज शेयर होल्डर हैज द राइट टू गेट द शेयर रजिस्टर्ड ऑन हिज नेम और कैन ट्रांसफर इट टू एनी पर्सन। वो क्लियरली डिफाइन करता है कि लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव को राइट है, वो स्टैट्यूटरी राइट है लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव का। स्टैट्यूटरी मींस स्पेसिफिकली द लॉ प्रिस्क्राइब्स, लॉ स्पेसिफिकली प्रिस्क्राइब करता है कि दैट एलआर हैज अ right to get the shares registered on his name, or even if you want he can transfer on the to any other person also. So even this section should be read in line with section 58(2) also. 58 में भी अगर आप जाएंगे section 58 में, वहां पे भी ये बात कही है, वहां पे भी बोला है कि that LR यानी कि legal representative has a right to be registered as shareholder or can transfer the shares. अगर वो registered हो जाएगा as a shareholder तो उसको तो right है ही transfer करने का। So that way it is given clearly specified at that. So accordingly, the correct option would be what? Option B. कंपनी को कोई हक नहीं है उसको मना करने का, इसलिए नो लिखा है पहले। उसके बाद ये बोला है कि yes, comma means another line of statement is starting that the legal representative has the right to transfer even if they are not registered shareholder. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो उसका statutory right है। Nobody can stop him from availing his right. Yes. और लॉजिकली भी देखें तो लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है तो जरूरी नहीं है ना कि उसके पास उस कंपनी के शेयर्स हों। अगर आप इसको लॉजिकली थोड़ा सा इंटरप्रेट करना चाहें
तो उसको अपने नाम पे ट्रांसफर करवाना पड़ेगा।
बट लॉ ओनली डज नॉट गो बाय लॉजिक्स, यू नीड टू बी अवेयर ऑफ द लॉजिक एज वेल एज द लीगल प्रोविजन। So should we take up something else or we can close the class, ma'am? Let's take one more question.
One more question ले लेते हैं. You say which question you would like to have it.
बच्चे
ले लो. ये वाला कौन सा लेना चाहते हैं? ये लेना चाहते हैं, ये भी ले सकते हैं. This also.
चलो let's take fourth because थोड़ा सा tricky है बच्चों के पॉइंट से.
ठीक है, चलो क्वेश्चन रीड करो श्वेता.
हाँ. Based on the buyback limitations and the provisions of the Companies Act, do you think the proposed buyback is valid? अब अगर आप इस क्वेश्चन को देखो, इसकी एक बहुत ही अच्छी खासियत है. उन्होंने जो हमें कैलकुलेशन करनी होती है, हमारे पास जर्नली ऐसे डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, उन्होंने पूरी कैलकुलेशन करवा ली आपने फॉर अ सिंगल एमसीक्यू.
इसलिए ये मत सोचना कि
बहुत आसान है,
इजी ही आएंगे. कुछ जब कैलकुलेटिव बेस्ड होते हैं तो डेफिनेटली देयर इट टेक्स अ प्रॉपर टाइम, क्योंकि आपको कैलकुलेट भी करना पड़ेगा, आपको लॉ भी अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा.
और लॉ के पेपर के लिए इट इज लाइक आप अपना कैलकुलेटर प्लीज साथ में लेके जाएगा मैम. बहुत बार बच्चे क्वेश्चंस आ जाते हैं, तो डेज की कैलकुलेशन है, टाइम पीरियड की कैलकुलेशन है, पेनल्टीज की कैलकुलेशन है, या कहीं पे लिमिट्स की कैलकुलेशंस है, CSR में होती हैं. कई बच्चों की कैलकुलेशन जरूरी नहीं कि आपकी बाय हैंड इतनी अच्छी हो, तो यू शुड टेक द कैलकुलेटर विद यू. डोंट टेक इट लाइक कि ओके इट्स अ लॉ पेपर सो आई विल नॉट बी नीडिंग द कैलकुलेटर. अब इस क्वेश्चन के लिए विदाउट आई थिंक गोइंग इनटू द ऑप्शंस, इनको हम 62 के 67 के प्रोविजंस बता देते हैं.
हाँ, क्योंकि 67 का थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड और काफी बड़ा सा सेक्शन है, एंड मेनी टाइम्स इट्स देयर कि दैट स्टूडेंट आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस सेक्शन. बट बेसिकली जो ये सेक्शन है, इट्स प्राइमरली, अगर आप देखो तो इट प्रोहिबिट्स एनी कंपनी फ्रॉम बाइंग इट्स ओन शेयर्स, और इनफैक्ट इट्स kind of a restriction imposing on providing any financial assistance for the purchase of its own shares. ठीक है, लेकिन उन्होंने वहां पे कुछ if and but and conditions लगा दी हैं. ठीक है, यानी कि उस पे प्रोहिबिशन है, लेकिन certain conditions are also there. In that conditions, yes,
buyback
you
is
can do the
allowed.
buyback. Yes, buyback is being allowed. So आप जब conditions देखेंगे तो आपके पास एक है 68 सेक्शन भी है, जो प्रॉपर प्रोसीजर बताता है कि आप बायबैक को कैसे कर सकते हैं. तो आप ये देखोगे जनरली इस सेक्शंस को लाने के पीछे जो इंटेंट ऑफ लॉ था बेसिकली 67 को बायबैक के पीछे, कि क्या जरूरत है कि एक कंपनी के खुद को ही शेयर्स खरीदने पड़े, जो भी आपके शेयर होल्डर्स है, दे नीड्स टू परचेज द शेयर्स ऑफ द कंपनी, ऑफ इट्स ओन कंपनी. तो आप देखेंगे दिस वाज मेंट टू प्रिवेंट द मार्केट मैनिपुलेशंस.
कंपनी अपने शेयर्स खुद खरीद
मैनिपुलेट करती है, और कई बार क्या करती है, दे ट्राई टू डू रिडक्शन इन द कैपिटल, वो भी इन यू कैन से इन अनफेयरली मैनर. So that in order to prevent that
any kind of manipulation by the company by purchasing their own shares,
तो वो क्या करती है, restrictions लगा देती है. ठीक है, certain kind of limitations mark कर देती है. So that is that this sections has been levied, and 58 properly laid down the procedure. और प्रोसीजर में ये बोला जाता है कि जो बायबैक अगर आप कर रहे हो तो उसमें सोर्सेज बताए हुए कि आप कहाँ से बायबैक के लिए जो अमाउंट आप करोगे, क्या क्या सोर्सेज वहां पे यूटिलाइज करोगे. Apart from the sources, it also lays down the limit कि आप बायबैक कितना कर सकते हो, कितना लिमिट उन्होंने स्पेसिफाई कर दिया है. तो उन्होंने प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स के लिए आपकी लिमिट जो है वो 68 सबसेक्शन 2 के अंदर जो डिफरेंट ABCDEFG वाले जो क्लॉजेज हैं, आप उसके अंदर देखेंगे उसमें स्पेसिफाइड है. उसमें उन्होंने बता रखा है वहां पर कि अगर प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स के केस है तो वहां पर आपका होगा 25% ऑफ पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल प्लस फ्री रिजर्व. ठीक है, लेकिन आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ हमारा जो क्वेश्चन है, हमारा जो फैक्ट सेट टॉक्स अबाउट द इश्यू बायबैक ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स. लेट्स चेक इट आउट. इक्विटी शेयर्स की बात कर रहा हूँ, दैट टू ऑफ, यहाँ पे अमाउंट भी देख रहे हैं आप 3 करोड़. आप देखेंगे सेकेंड लाइन में बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स के नीचे वाले लाइन में टू परचेज 3 करोड़ इक्विटी शेयर्स. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे यानी कि इक्विटी शेयर्स की बात कर रहा है, तो वहां पे प्रोविजन दिया हुआ है इन दैट क्लॉज स्पेसिफिकली सेज अबाउट इन केस ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स the buyback limit is 25% of paid up share capital, and you would be seeing in the case scenario the paid up capital is limited, or you can see the shares also, the shares is 20 crore shares are there, uska 25% agar aap karte it will come to 5 crore. ठीक है, and since you are seeing here there are various options, अब हम देखते हैं उस हिसाब से. ठीक है, कि compliance के साथ और limit के साथ whether these options are complying or not. तो आप देख रहे हैं जो फर्स्ट ऑप्शन है, इट सेज यस the buyback is valid as the total amount of 180 crore is within 25% of aggregate paid up and free reserves. And the buyback in the new financial is affected, is not affected by the previous year's buyback. Since already I told there are two things specified in this clause. One is with respect to preference shares and other with respect to equity shares. तो ये वाला जो क्लॉज है ये आपका प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स के रिगार्डिंग में दिया हुआ है, जिसमें आप जो 25% निकालते हैं वो आप निकालते हैं पेड अप प्लस फ्री रिजर्व्स का. तो दैट इज व्हाई this option is wrong and students are really confused. अगर उन्होंने ये difference make out नहीं किया होगा तो they will mark the option first as a correct option. If you go with option B, yes, the buyback is valid as the number of shares is 3 crore and 25% जो हमने निकाला था total paid up का it was 5 crores. So it is within the limit. But let's check out with the other options before marking the correct answers.
You should always read all the options. हो सकता है ये option आपको सही लगा हो लेकिन
सही है,
इससे better भी कुछ और
better क्या कोई additional correct information इसी option के साथ stick कर दी जाए तो
yes.
वो और appropriate आपका हो जाएगा.
Yes.
अब जैसे C है, now yes the buyback is valid as the value of the shares being bought up 180 crore represent only 22.5%. ये तो आपका वैसे invalid हो गया because requirement is of 25%. So this is also altogether wrong. Since यहाँ पे एग्रीगेट उन्होंने पेड अप फ्री रिजर्व्स का भी
पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल और फ्री रिजर्व्स का लिया.
यस, तो ये भी आपका गलत है. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट ऑप्शन, नो द बायबैक इज इनवैलिड एज द टोटल अमाउंट 180 करोड़ कंबाइंड विद द प्रीमियम बीइंग पेड 150. ये तो ऑल टुगेदर आप इसको गलत कह ही सकते हैं क्योंकि इसमें आप देख रहे हैं प्रीमियम कहाँ से है. इसमें तो ऐसा सिक्योरिटी प्रीमियम की बात कर रहा है. सिक्योरिटी प्रीमियम के रिगार्डिंग में जब हम कैलकुलेशन करते हैं लिमिट 25% की, वो कहीं पे भी मेंशन नहीं है एज पर द एक्ट. तो आप देखेंगे ये आंसर भी आपका गलत हो जाता है. सो अकॉर्डिंगली आपका इस ऑप्शन में से ऑप्शन डी इज द करेक्ट आंसर बिकॉज इट इज विद इन द लिमिट एंड एज पर द कंप्लायंस ऑफ लॉ. सो ऑप्शन डी इज द करेक्ट.
So I think we have taken almost like 1.5 hour, like quarter to 2 hours with them, and we have discussed with them the case scenario based MCQ and descriptive also. Hope so this session has helped you. If you have any query, kindly raise your hand.
Yes, students.
Okay, all clear. Very good, very good. So either all clear, ma'am, or
yeah, all clear.
All clear. So we don't know all clear or clear they are writing. So since you are saying that all clear, so with this we will like to end our session.
Yes, and we would request kindly go through a proper utilize this 45 days that the number of days that have been left. So properly utilize it in a correct manner so that you will be whatever has been left you can cover it up as of now and just focus on your studies because this is the last time. अभी ये कि कुछ ही दिन बचे हैं आपके लास्ट टाइम में बिफोर अपियरिंग एग्जामिनेशन. जस्ट कंसंट्रेट ऑन इट. अभी यही टाइम है जब आप कुछ कर सकते हैं. तो गो इन अ प्रॉपर planning and go with the timetable, prepare it and follow it up.
So with this, we would like to end our session. A big thank you to our technical team as well as our dear students for being here in making this session a success. And we meet you again after the second series of MT. Thank you.
Wish you all the best and thank you.
Yeah. Yes.